Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, good evening, everyone. I now call to order this meeting of the City Council for Lancaster for October 8th, 2024. A couple of reminders at the top of the meeting. Please silence your phones and devices if you haven't done so already. This meeting and its participants are being recorded. This evening, there will be several opportunities for public comment. If you wish to make public comment, please do so at the podium and speak into the microphone so that you can be heard both in the room and on our live stream. All comment should begin with your full name and block of residence for the meeting record. Comment should pertain to issues that may have or may come before council as legislation and should be addressed toward council. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and we'll be keeping time with this light. It will turn green when your time begins. It will turn yellow when there is 1 minute remaining, and red when 3 minutes has been exhausted. Thank you in advance for ensuring that everyone has equal time. And now, for all that are willing and able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mr. Harris, would you please call the roll of members?
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Met.
Here.
Mr. Arroyo.
Here.
Mr. Cleese. Ms. Gregg.
Here.
Ms. Diaz.
Here.
Mr. Hirsch.
Here.
And President Baker.
Here. Councilor Cleeks is excused for this evening. Our next item is the approval of the minutes of the September 24th meeting of council.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second for the meeting minutes. Any council comments on them? Hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Met.
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Ms. Gregg.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. All right. Next item on the agenda is proclamations, honors, awards, and resolutions of recognition. It doesn't appear that we have any this evening. Is that correct, Mr. Harris?
That is correct, Madam President.
Thank you. Next item is the first public comment period reserved for residents who have contacted the city clerk prior to the meeting to request the opportunity to address council. Do we have any comments for the first period, Mr. Harris?
We do not, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Our next item is reports requested by council. Does not appear that we have any of those this evening. Is that right?
That's correct, Madam President.
Thank you. We'll move then to reports of committees of the council. These were the meetings held on October 1st, 2024. We'll begin with the Public Safety Committee. Councilor Diaz.
Yes, the committee met last week, and we discussed the Administration Resolution 69, 2020 for authorizing an application. We'll bring it forward for legislative agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Diaz. Next is the Public Works Committee. Councilor Hirsch.
Thank you, Council President. The Public Works Committee did not meet.
Thank you. Next is the Economic Development Committee. Councilor Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President. The Economic Development Committee did not meet in the last session.
Thank you. Next is the Finance Committee. Councilor Arroyo.
Thank you, Council President. The Finance Committee did meet during the last session. We had the opportunity to hear from the Mayor and Director Campbell on the proposed budgets, which we will hear on October 12th for our budget hearing. During the last Finance Committee meeting, Director Campbell presented two proposed 2025 city budgets to Council. The first assumes an 8% real estate tax increase under our current charter. The second assumes a 0.3% earned income tax increase if home rule is approved by the voters in the upcoming November election. No fee increases for water or stormwater. However, there is a 10% fee increase proposed for solid waste and recycling due to an increase in external costs and a 12% increase in sewer fees. Director Tina Campbell emphasized the financial sustainability of the home rule option, predicting fewer property tax increases over time and greater budget transparency. A budget hearing is scheduled for October 12th, at 9 a.m. here in Council Chambers, followed by another on November 14th. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you very much, Councilor Arroyo. Next is the Personnel Committee, and I will handle that in place of Councilor Cleeks. The Personnel Committee did meet on October 1st, and they reviewed nominations for appointment in Public Art Advisory Board, one new appointment and several reappointments, and that is the conclusion of that report. Oh, and I'm sorry. Yes. Councilor Craig, I apologize. Let's get a report from Community Planning.
Thank you, Council President. Community Planning did meet during the last session. We had 3 items on the agenda, all of which are authorizing applications to the local shares account program by Lancaster City Housing Authority, which will come up on our agenda.
Thank you very much, Councilor Craig, and I apologize for missing you first. All right, we will then move into our legislative agenda for this evening. Our first item is nominations for appointment to the Public Art Advisory Board. I do have a motion for that this evening. I would like to make a motion to appoint James Archer Abbott to the Public Art Advisory Board for a term from October 8th, 2024 to July 31st, 2026, and to reappoint John McGran, Claudia Galdamez, and Claudia Galdamez to the Public Art Advisory Board for the terms from July 31st, 2024 through July 31st, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you, councilors. These are the appointments that we heard at our committee meeting last Tuesday, rather. Any council comments on them? Thank you. Comments from the public on the nominations? Hearing none. Mr. Harris?
Mr. Med,
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Gregg,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch,
Aye.
and President Baker.
Aye. Thank you. Next item is resolutions, and the first one is resolution number 69, 2024. Mr. Harris?
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the submission of an application seeking funding from the U.S. Department of Justice for the FY 2024 Burn Justice Assistant Grant Program.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This is coming through Public Safety. Councilor Diaz, if you have anything to add.
Just that the Lancaster City and County agreed to allocate the JAG funds of $44,313 to the city police for digital intelligence software and ballistic barriers. The city will submit the application and sign an agreement with the county on the funds used.
Thank you very much, Councilor Diaz. Are there any additional council comments on the resolution? Comments from the public on the resolution? Hearing none. Mr. Harris?
Mr. Med,
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Gregg,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch,
Aye.
President Baker.
Aye. Our next item is resolution resolution number 70, 2024. Mr. Harris?
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the filing of the Commonwealth Finance Authority local share account application for funding in the amount not to exceed $1 million for Lancaster City Housing Authority's Susquehanna Court and Franklin Terrace apartments.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilor Craig?
As presented to us at committee meeting, these are local shares, the program, and they're for Susquehanna Court. We're going through Lancaster City Housing Authority. They're for facade improvements for Susquehanna Court and Franklin Terrace.
Thank you very much, Councilor Craig. And I'll just add that we also heard from Director of Administrative Services, Tina Campbell, who described the local shares grants. These are state funds that are allocated across the Commonwealth, and they're not grants provided by the City of Lancaster. Are there any additional council comments on resolution number 70? From the public? Hearing none. Mr. Harris?
Mr. Med,
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Gregg,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch,
Aye.
President Baker.
Aye. We'll move then to resolution number 71, 2024. Mr. Harris?
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the filing of the Commonwealth Finance Authority local share account application for funding in the amount not to exceed $1 million for Lancaster City Housing Authority's Church Street Towers and Farnham Street East renovations.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Counselor Craig, anything additional on this one?
Same thing applies that we did to the last one. Just for facade improvements to Church Street Towers and Farnham Street East.
Thank you very much. Any additional council comments on the resolution? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Med,
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch,
Aye.
President Beke.
Aye. And then we'll move to resolution number 72, 2024. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the filing of the Commonwealth Finance Authority local share account application for funding in the amount not to exceed $1 million for Partners with Purpose exterior property improvements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Counselor Craig.
Thank you, Council President. The same thing applies to this resolution as with the other two. The only difference with this one is it is for improvements to 15 to 33 properties throughout the city. The number of improvement sites will depend on the amount of the grant funding received and the cost of the improvements.
Thank you very much, Counselor Craig. Any additional council comments on the resolution? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Med,
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch,
Aye.
President Beke.
Aye. Thank you. All right, we've reached the conclusion of our legislative agenda, which brings us to our second public comment period tonight. This is open for issues that were not previously on the agenda. The duration of these comments is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and speakers should begin with their first and last name and block of residence for the meeting record. Is there anyone for public comment this evening? Please step forward now. And as you come up to the microphone, you just want to make sure that they see a green light there in front of you. Thank you, and good evening.
My name is Jose Rivera. I'm here representing the West Crystal Volunteers. I'm their co-founder. The reason I'm here today is concerning our park. It's really getting unsafety in our park, Crystal Park, period. I have taken pictures. This is constantly, I haven't been saying nothing, but recently, a month or so ago, I see they're gonna remodel, 2 or 3 parks in the Southeast District, and guess what? Our park has not been completed. They never put the flagpole up that I had to get fundings to get that flagpole put up. We still haven't received the sign that even indicates that's Crystal Park. All of this was on the contract when they first remodeled that park in 2017. That park, what was it, $1.something million? Right now, I had almost 2 kids choke on the rubber that we had on the playground. I complained close to 3 years over that issue. Nothing was done. Also, we have outlets, to get electricity. Well, guess what? They're unsafe. Do you know how the park department makes it safe? They wrap black tape around it, and that's it. The covers are not on, so that's a little danger exposure to electricity that kids like sticking their fingers into. On top of that, that park does not have a camera in the park. In the park. You have it outside, but that's, on the curve across the street. It does not cover it. We've been having multiple sex offenders, drug addicts, homeless moving into that area. We have also footage of them having nasty stuff in the park. I can't allow the kids anymore to pick up any more trash. because I'm finding syringes and I'm finding stuff that is unsafe. I have over 200 and something members, mothers and fathers. I have kids from 6 all the way to McCaskey because my granddaughter is the CEO of this group. Her name is Isaiah. She's a little bit upset. I don't blame her. She started this with me to make that neighborhood safe and clean for her to play with the kids. She feels like they were neglected, and I feel the same way for this issue.
Mr. Rivera, I apologize.
I thank you, but
I appreciate you bringing
that's,
your concerns.
I don't have no more to say, but I don't want to wait until a kid get hurt, and then I hear sorries. I don't want to hear sorries. And mothers and fathers don't want to hear sorries. Not too long ago, there was a man
I apologize.
and a white van that abducted one of those kids in that park.
Thank you. Are there any further public comments this evening? Hearing none, we will close public comment for this evening. And we will move now to the next item on the agenda, which is the report of the mayor. Mayor Sirachi.
Thank you very much. Let me just... We have some late-breaking news, which I'm very excited to share. But let me go to my regular report first. Earlier today, the Biden-Harris administration released the final guidance on the recent U.S. EPA lead and copper rule revisions. The rule now requires all water providers to replace all lead water pipes within 10 years, which, as you can imagine, is an ambitious goal, although we in the city of Lancaster have fewer than 1% of our pipes as being identified as lead. You'll also recall that this rule now requires the city to not only replace any lead pipe, quote, on our side, meaning from the main to the curb, but also from the curb into the house. So there's a lot of lines from the curb to the house, all of them, in fact, that we do not know the material that they are made of, and for which we will be responsible for replacing should they be determined to be lead. The cost of replacement in the city's water distribution area, which again is inclusive of the city and 10 municipalities, is estimated at $125 to $150 million. I don't need to tell you that this is a tremendous amount of money that the city and and that we will need to financially plan for. This is a little bit of a preview to the conversation that we're going to have about the capital budget in the coming weeks. Residents can help us reduce these costs by submitting the material of their water line. 11,600 customers have already done so, and we are deeply grateful for their help. There is a simple online form at the cityoflancasterpa.gov, lead-service-line, that residents can upload a picture of their water line. Additionally, because we are required to inventory all of these lines, Public Works crews have started to pothole in priority areas to determine the material of the water service lines from the curb to the house. Customers receive a door hanger with advance notice of this happening and can call to avoid having their yard or sidewalk dug up. Crews are completing about 40 lines a week through potholing, which is, again, digging a circular hole down to the water line to record its material. Residents can avoid this happening at their property by submitting the information themselves as soon as possible and saving a considerable amount of money for us to not have to continuously dig up in front of everybody's house. This is a colossal project, and we will continue to keep you apprised of our progress as we move through this initial stage of inventorying, not the lines that are from the curb to the house for which we do not have information. On another happier note related to lead, I have just been informed by Rebecca, thank you for this very good news, that we received a second, well, it's not our second, we received the next round of lead remediation funding, $7.75 million, following the $9.1 million that was received in 2019. We have remediated over 300 homes, and this is work that our team is particularly proud of. And tonight, we are adding $7.75 million to the push to remove lead in homes south of King Street. I want to congratulate the Department of Community Planning, Economic Development, and the lead team for their work, because we are completing more houses than many other communities in our that have received previous awards. So that is great news. And the other really good piece of news that I wanted to share is related to police recruitment. So far, we've received 386 applicants. 320 of those have registered for our physical agility test, which will be on October the 19th, which is the first step in the process of becoming a city police officer. This is about on par with last year's application numbers, when we saw a significant increase in applications. And I continue to be very proud of our recruitment efforts and the way that our team has really changed it up to bring in 386 applications. For context, last season's recruitment cycle brought in about 418 applications, which led to six new officers. And we hope a few more will come from that pool of applicants. I just share this for context because we are very stringent in who we hire as a police officer. And while we don't always get it 100% right, because, recently we had one of our newer officers decide that policing wasn't for them. We really try to screen applicants to really make sure this is the kind of job that they want to commit to for the next 20 to 25 years. And that's a long commitment to make. We are going to continue to cast a wide net to find qualified officers, recognizing that this hiring process is long and rigorous. And if you haven't had a chance to check out the new agility course that we launched last year, I would encourage you to come out and maybe run the course, which is not terribly long, but it is timed. We have had really a lot of success using this model of using this agility course, and I think that it's attractive to officers because it's actually putting to use skills through the agility course that they can expect to need as a police officer. It's not just running around a track and doing push-ups and sit-ups. So with that, I will close with my report tonight, and I look forward to sharing with you more about the grant that we received as I get more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Sirachi. The next item on the agenda is report of council, and I just also want to echo my congratulations to Rebecca Geiser and her team. That's incredible news, and I look forward to hearing more about how we'll be implementing that in the years going forward. Also, just wanted to say tonight that my thoughts are with the people in Florida and Western North Carolina who are affected by Hurricane Helene last week, and those who are currently in the path of Hurricane Milton, which will almost certainly be catastrophic to the Florida Gulf Coast. And there are certainly many Lancastrians with family and other loved ones in those areas, and we know that that is weighing heavily upon you, and we're thinking about you in this incredibly difficult time. And also to say that climate change is real, and we are seeing it play out in front of us. And second, in my report this evening, a quick reminder, it was mentioned earlier that the budget hearing will be held on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 12th. It will begin at 9 a.m. here in the Polite Council chambers. And that concludes my report this evening. I'll open it up to any council comments this evening.
Council President.
Councilor Hirsch.
Mayor Sirachi, if I may, can I ask a follow-up question on the lead service line? Which is, is there a deadline by which folks have to respond to our survey, or will that be communicated at a later time?
There is a deadline that we need to provide all of the data that we have to EPA, and that is sometime this month in October. So we've been working to get as much inventory completed as possible, but it was a pretty short turnaround. It also means that any line that we don't have identified is automatically, according to the EPA, considered to be a lead line. And so we are going to get an overestimate of lead lines back from the EPA. We are just going to continue to methodically work through this process of trying to get more people to take a photo, go down in their basement and take a photo of their incoming water line. We are doing neighborhood door hanging and have been doing a series of those efforts to get city residents, especially because many do not have grass in the front of their houses, to respond. And then the potholing will have to continue because we will need to demonstrate to the EPA that we are actively increasing the number, or actively decreasing the number of unknown lines in our system. So it's a 10-year process, but the clock is ticking, and it officially was declared to be 10 years today, and that was part of the Biden-Harris announcement today.
Thank you for the context.
Thank you, Councilor Hirsch. Any additional council comments this evening?
I have a question for the mayor.
Councilor Diaz.
If I can. Can you tell me how much is the grant for the citizens to replace the line? I'm sorry.
The lines, well, there's a lot of factors to that, and if it's part of a line or the entire line, I'm going to have to get back to that because I don't want to misquote the wrong number, but I will share that with you and council, what the estimated cost is. But the cost will be borne by the city. We are required to replace those lines.
That's the one that goes, because it stops at a certain point and then the resident's responsible. So if you can kind of give me I know, I'm trying to figure out. So it's that's the portion that the person would get the grant, but if they needed a grant to also include their portion?
We are required to replace both portions.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense, but if you can do that, then now.
Yes, I will get back to you with what that dollar amount is. We're using an estimate based on past practice and what it has cost. But we've never, we have never been responsible as a city of Lancaster for the lines from the curb to the house. And that is the new part, and that is what is potentially significant expense.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Additional council comments this evening? All right, here, none, and reach the end of our agenda. I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Rivera, well, we're not going to replace the water plant, and I'm happy to chat with you after the meeting has concluded.
The water is safe to drink.
No, you can't. You gotta.
I-
Some people, you know, take a bath with this. What are you talking about? Some of it's coming out yellow. No, we don't have nothing to talk about. Water straight on the water plant. Water, fix the water plant.
Mr. Rivera, I think we'll be able to answer some of this offline. I appreciate this, but we have a motion and a second on the floor. All of those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.